My husband forgot our son's parent-teacher conference. Again. He texted, work ran late. But when I got home, his car wasn't in the driveway. I tracked his location, he was at a restaurant. With someone new. I showed up and watched them toast with wine he said we couldn't afford. I took a photo and left without being seen. The next day, I printed it on a giant poster and hung it in his office with the words, "Work must be delicious." His boss called me before he did. Divorce came before dessert. I never thought I'd be the kind of wife who had to track her husband's phone. I used to think that kind of thing only happened to people who already knew their marriage was falling apart. But sometimes, you're the last one to see the cracks when you're standing too close. Rick and I have been married 12 years. We live in Toledo, Ohio. Nothing fancy. Just a regular neighborhood, a 2-story house with a small backyard, and a swing set that Rick put together 3 years ago but never quite finished. We have one son, Adam. He's 9. Smart kid. Kind heart. Still thinks the world of his dad. That makes this harder. Rick works in finance. Not Wall Street money, just local firm money. Enough to get by, enough to keep us comfortable. But lately, he's been working late more often. Missing dinners. Skipping out on family stuff. Always had a reason. Meeting ran long. Client called in a panic. Just a deadline thing, babe. I wanted to believe him. I really did. But it got harder every time I sat alone at the table with Adam, reheating the food I made for 3. Last Tuesday was parent-teacher night. It wasn't a surprise. I emailed Rick 2 weeks before. Reminded him again the day before. Texted him that morning. He replied, "Yep, I'm in. Got it on my calendar." I left work early so I could get to the school on time. Adam was excited. Kept asking, "Do you think Dad will be there first?" I told him maybe. We got there a little before 6. Mrs. Lerner, his teacher, smiled when we came in. Adam sat outside the classroom, reading a book, while I went in and took the little chair next to her desk. We waited. 5 minutes. 10. Then we just started without him. She told me Adam was doing great in math. Said he liked helping other kids. That he had a lot of leadership potential. I nodded, smiled, pretended to take notes, but I couldn't stop glancing at the door. Halfway through, my phone buzzed. A text from Rick. "Sorry. Work ran late. Can we reschedule?" I didn't even respond. I sat through the rest of the meeting with a knot in my chest. Not just from anger. From shame. I felt embarrassed. Like I'd been stood up at a table that was meant for 3 people, and only 2 of us bothered to show up. Adam didn't ask where his dad was when we got in the car. He just stared out the window. That hit harder than any fight Rick and I ever had. I pulled into the driveway and immediately noticed something was off. Rick's car wasn't there. I checked the clock, 7:40 p.m. He's supposed to be at work. He always says he's working late at the office. But his car's not here. And something just snapped. I opened the Find My app. I've never used it before. We set it up years ago for emergencies. I tapped his name. His location popped up fast. He wasn't at work. He was across town, at a restaurant called Laval's. I knew it. Fancy place. We went once, years ago, for an anniversary. He always said we couldn't afford it anymore. I stared at that screen for a long time. Thought maybe he was with a client. Maybe he ran into an old friend. But in my gut, I knew. I didn't call. I didn't text. I got back in the car. Laval's has big windows out front. The kind of place where people want to be seen. I parked across the street, left the engine running. Told Adam I needed to grab something from inside, to just play his game for a minute. I crossed over and walked along the sidewalk, casual. Like I was just out for air. And there he was. Back corner booth. Candle on the table. Napkin tucked in his lap like he was settling in. And across from him? A woman. Blonde. Younger. Tight red dress. Laughing like they were in a rom-com. They were sharing a bottle of wine. Wine. The same kind he said we couldn't afford. The same kind I stopped buying for birthdays because he told me we needed to save. They clinked glasses and smiled at each other. My hand shook so hard I almost dropped my phone. But I managed to lift it. Snap a photo. Just one. Through the window. Their faces, the wine, the candle. All of it. Then I walked back to the car. Adam looked up. Everything okay? I told him yes. But I wasn't okay. Not even close. That night, I didn't say a word when Rick came home. I pretended to be asleep. He smelled like cologne I didn't recognize. Like wine. I felt him get into bed. Turned away from him. I didn't sleep at all. Next morning, I got up before him. Packed Adam's lunch. Dropped him at school early. Then I drove straight to a print shop. I handed them the photo and asked for the biggest size they could print. Poster. Maybe bigger. I added text at the bottom, big white letters, "Work must be delicious." The guy behind the counter asked if it was a joke. I said it was very real. Then I drove to Rick's office. I'd been there plenty of times. Dropped off lunch, picked him up for appointments. The receptionist knows me. I told her I had a surprise for Rick's office. She smiled. Said he was on a call but that I could go in. So I did. Hung the poster right behind his desk. Then I left. Didn't take a photo of that. Didn't need to. A few hours later, my phone rang. Unknown number. It was his boss. She didn't sound amused. Asked if I could come pick up the poster. I told her no thanks. Rick didn't call until later that night. By then, I'd already packed bags for me and Adam and moved to my sister's. The look on his face when he realized I knew? That was better than dessert. Rick didn't come after us right away. Not the first night. Not even the next morning. That told me more than his words ever could. A man who truly messed up would show up at your door, beg to talk, try something. Anything. But Rick? Silence. I stayed at my sister Michelle's house with Adam. She lives on the other side of Toledo, small ranch-style place with a sunroom. She offered me the guest room without asking questions. Just hugged me and said, "Stay as long as you need." I didn't cry. Not at first. I felt numb. 2 days later, Rick finally called. "Can we talk?" That's all he said. I told him we could meet in a public place. A coffee shop on Secker Road. Neutral ground. I left Adam with Michelle. When I got there, he was already sitting at a table, looking like hell. Unshaven, bags under his eyes. He stood when I came in. Tried to smile. I didn't. I sat. Said nothing. He started talking. "It was a mistake," he said. "I didn't mean for it to happen. It was just, things got stressful, and I held up my hand." "Stop." He blinked. "I just want to explain." "You don't get to call it a mistake," I said. "A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk. A mistake isn't lying to your wife and son for weeks. Maybe months." He looked down. Then he said something I wasn't ready for. "It's been going on for about 5 months." I stared at him. 5. He nodded. "And you were just going to what? Keep lying to me until it blew up in your face?" He didn't answer. I stood to leave. That's when he said it. She didn't know I was married. I turned back. What? She didn't know, he said again. I didn't tell her. That hit me like a slap. He wasn't just cheating. He was pretending to be someone else. A single man. No wife. No son. Living a second life. I walked out. Later that night, I went through his emails. Yes, I still had the login. He never changed it. I wasn't expecting what I found. There were hotel bookings. Receipts. Messages back and forth to a woman named Darla. They weren't just sleeping together. He was making plans. Romantic weekends. Dinners. He told her he loved her. And the worst part? He sent her a photo of Adam. Not saying it was his son. No. The caption read, "My nephew. Took him to the zoo. He wore me out. He erased us." Just like that. The next morning, I printed out every email. Every receipt. Every photo. I had them all in a big manila folder. And I mailed it. To Darla. No note. No return address. Just the truth. That same day, Rick showed up at Michelle's house. Banged on the door. Yelled my name. She told him to leave or she'd call the cops. He left. Then a week passed. Then 2. He didn't ask to see Adam. Didn't call. Didn't text. I filed for full custody. My lawyer sent him the papers. 3 days after that, Darla called me. She must have gotten my number from the documents I sent. Or maybe she already had it, and I just didn't know. "I got your package," she said. Her voice was shaking. I didn't say anything. "I'm sorry," she said. "I had no idea. He told me you were his cousin. That Adam was your kid. That he was helping you raise him because the dad walked out." I sat down. "I feel so stupid," she said. He said I was the first person who made him feel like he could start over. I finally spoke. "You weren't the first. Just the latest." She paused. "Do you want to meet?" I wasn't expecting that. But I said yes. We met at the same coffee shop where I confronted Rick. She was younger than me by maybe 10 years. Pretty. Polished. Confused. She brought a folder of her own. Photos. Texts. He had told her he wanted to marry her. Said he was planning to get out of Ohio for good. Then she said something that made my stomach turn. He asked me if I'd ever wanted kids. He said he missed raising one. He meant Adam. My son. I asked her one thing, "Is he still talking to you?" She looked ashamed. "No." He stopped right after the poster. He said everything was falling apart and he needed time. "Then I got your mail." We sat in silence. Then I had an idea. A real, clear, cold idea. After that meeting with Darla, I went back to Michelle's house with one goal in mind: expose Rick. All of him. The fake persona. The lies. The way he used people like they were disposable. Because it wasn't just me or Darla. He was doing this all the time. I could feel it in my bones. I started digging. I still had access to our joint credit card statements and some of his older emails. Rick isn't as careful as he thinks. There were strange charges. Out-of-state hotel stays he never mentioned, gifts, online orders I never saw delivered to our house. Spa visits. Jewelry stores. I spent 2 nights cross-referencing names from receipts and emails. I found 2 more women. One in Columbus, one in Chicago. I wasn't shocked anymore. Just cold. Rick had a pattern. He'd travel for work, charm someone, pretend to be a lonely guy without attachments. He'd get what he wanted and disappear. And somehow, he always came home just in time to kiss our son goodnight like nothing happened. But this wasn't just about heartbreak anymore. This was about character. About what kind of man gets away with this kind of thing and still gets to walk around without consequence. So I got organized. With Darla's help, and yes, she was all in now, we gathered everything. Emails. Texts. Photos. Even audio. She had a few voicemails saved that made my skin crawl. He was so good at lying it sounded like he believed it. We put it all in a Google Drive folder. Labeled by name, date, city. Color-coded. I even made a timeline. I was that fed up. Then I created an anonymous Instagram account. I didn't post right away. I planned it out. Every post, every story, every caption. One by one, showing the world who Rick really was. Not just to embarrass him. To warn people. Because men like him don't stop unless someone stops them. And here's where things got even darker. I got an email. From a name I didn't recognize, Samantha K. Subject line, "You don't know me, but I know Rick." She'd found the account before I even launched it. Word must have gotten around fast. Darla had told one friend, who told another, and it traveled like wildfire. Samantha said she'd dated Rick 6 years ago. Before he and I got serious again. Only, we were already married 6 years ago. She told me she had no idea he was married either. She lived in Fort Wayne, Indiana. She sent a photo. It was Rick. Smiling, arms around her at a beachside Airbnb. He told her his name was Ricky Hayes. He gave her a different last name. And she wasn't alone. Samantha said he was still talking to her friend, too. Someone named Tori. He was keeping multiple relationships alive, now. Even after the divorce papers were filed. Even after I thought everything was crumbling. I couldn't believe it. Or maybe I could. That's when I realized. This wasn't a man who slipped up. This was a man who built his whole life on lies and charm and keeping his women far enough apart they wouldn't ever find each other. Until now. So I made a decision. I started a private group chat, me, Darla, Samantha, and Tori. It took some convincing, but once they saw the documents and photos, they knew it was real. They were angry. Humiliated. One of them cried. But we weren't going to cry anymore. We planned something. Something public. And Rick had no idea what was coming. Rick had always counted on his charm and distance. He'd never been caught before because he was careful with just one thing, keeping us separated. He didn't think any of us would ever talk. That we'd be too hurt, too ashamed, too afraid to come forward. But he was wrong. The group chat grew. It went from 4 women to 8 within 2 weeks. I didn't even have to do much. Word got out, and more came forward on their own. Some dated him. Some just hooked up. One was engaged to him for a short time before he ghosted her and moved back to Ohio for work. That was 3 years ago. We got proof of that too. Each one of us had something. Screenshots. Voicemails. Photos. Emails. He was sloppy. Arrogant. And we were ready. Now, here's where things turned. Rick's company? That finance firm he worked at in Toledo? They hosted an annual community gala every May. It's not a big event in national terms, but here in town, it's a polished night for business folks, clients, media, and local donors. Rick loved that event. Wore his nicest suit. Got his photo in the paper the year before. He'd schmooze and brag and pretend he was some kind of local hotshot. This year, the event was May 4th. It was open to the public for a fee, so I bought 4 tickets. Darla bought 2. Samantha came in from Indiana. Tori too. The others didn't want to come in person, but they helped us prep. We got a table near the stage. Quiet. Out of the way. And we waited. Rick walked in, right on time. Navy suit. Clean shave. Laughing with some balding guy I didn't recognize. He didn't see us. Not at first. And that's when I gave the signal. Darla walked toward him first. Straight to him. I saw the exact moment he froze. Then Tori followed. Then Samantha. Then me. We surrounded him, right there in the middle of the room. He tried to smile. What's going on? I didn't say a word. Instead, I nodded to the stage. The projector screen behind the speakers, the one being used for slides, suddenly changed. A photo of Rick and Darla. Then Rick and Samantha. Then Rick with another woman, kissing her forehead. Then came the texts. His own words. Side by side. I've never felt this way before. You're the only one who gets me. I'm ready to start over with you. Each one dated. Lined up. Overlapping by months. The room went silent. Someone near the bar said, "What the hell is this?" His boss, the same one who called me about the poster, stood in the back, arms folded. Her eyes never left the screen. Rick tried to talk. "This is out of context," he said. Darla stepped forward. "Then let's give them context." She held up the folder we all helped build. Hard copies. Over 200 pages. I walked to the mic. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just said, "My name is Rachel. I was married to Rick for 12 years. He has a son he hasn't seen in weeks. He's been living a double, sometimes triple life. And we are here to make sure no one else gets fooled by him again." There was applause. It wasn't loud, but it was enough. Rick left through the side exit, red-faced, sweating. Someone took a video. It ended up on local Facebook pages the next day. It got shared over 40,000 times. By Monday, Rick was fired. By Tuesday, he was locked out of every company account. By Friday, he sent me a message. "I don't know what you want from me." I didn't reply. Because I already had what I wanted. The truth out in the open. Adam protected. And the curtain finally pulled back on the man who fooled so many for so long. But here's where I need to be honest. I wasn't perfect either. I let things slide for years. I made excuses for him. I covered for him when he didn't come to school events, told Adam his dad was busy with work when I should have told him the truth earlier. I was scared. I didn't want my son to hate his father. But what I learned is this: protecting a liar only gives him more room to lie. Now, Adam knows what happened. In words a 9-year-old can understand. He's quiet about it. He asks hard questions sometimes. But I answer them. Honestly. And every night now, when I tuck him in, I tell him the one thing I couldn't tell myself for too long: we don't let people treat us like we don't matter. Because we do. We always did. And now, so does the whole damn town.